further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Jon Levin with Star Micronics. Jon, take it away.
Thank you very much, John. Yes, I'm Jon Levin. I'm the Director of Product Management at Star Micronics. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, which is the changing landscape for the modern QSR and how critical labeling has become for those QSRs to deliver the experience that the modern customer expects. So in the webinar today, I'll talk about the changing environment for the QSR and that evolving role of labeling for QSRs, why it's so important for not just what printer you have, but what that printer can print on. The modern QSR faces a lot of different pain points, so we'll talk about those. We're going to talk about Star's solutions to some of those pains, including a little bit of a sneak peek for a new product we'll be launching next month. We're going to talk about how to position yourselves with Star's solutions to drive real ROI for your customers. And then we're going to talk about some of the tools and items of support that Star offers to help you deliver those solutions for your customers and start solving those QSR pain points as quickly as possible. So, as I mentioned, the QSR landscape is changing and changing rapidly. Not only are we seeing a lot of changes for the on-premise channels for the modern QSR, right? It's not just ordering at the counter, we're ordering at self-service kiosks. We're seeing an explosion in the off-premise channels for the modern QSR. So joining traditional things like drive-through and delivery, now everything is driven by online ordering, to-go, catering. We're even seeing ghost kitchens involved in the mix. It's a much different landscape for the modern QSR than it was 5-10 years ago. While Gen Xers like myself might have accepted 2-day Amazon Prime, the modern consumer, we're seeing really the first digital first generation of consumers, and their expectations are much higher. They don't want it in 2 days, they want it now, especially when it comes to their food, right? And they want everything to be fast, correct, and they want everything to be consistent no matter how they're interacting with a brand, including a restaurant, across any channel that they're interacting with that brand or ordering. I really liken it to the growing pains that we talked about for the last decade with retailers, right? Retailers had all these growing pains as they became omni-channel, as they didn't have to just worry about their brick and mortar business, but they had to worry about their e-commerce business, their social media, all these different channels that consumers were ordering from retailers. And restaurants are really starting to feel that omni-channel pain today. It's becoming much more apparent for QSRs and relevant for how their consumers are interacting with them and ultimately ordering meals. For a modern QSR, operations really need to be seamless across all of their channels, their on-premise channels, off-premise channels, and all of their third-party platform integrations. As we talked about the omni-channel retail pain, really that QSR omni-channel pain is very similar. It's their turn now. And we learned a lot of things from that omni-channel retail experience and how we delivered better experiences for retailers in that omni-channel world. And a lot of that can be applied to the restaurant world and QSR world as well, right? For a restaurant, every channel that a consumer engages with them with or orders from needs to be a consistent experience, right? A restaurant gets no points if I go to a brick and mortar location, it's a great experience, but then I order later on DoorDash and it's a terrible experience, right? I want that experience that I have with that restaurant to be excellent across every channel that I engage with them with. For a restaurant, they can't have everything be siloed, right? That's a big lesson we learned from the retail world. While a restaurant certainly needs to treat their online orders differently from their on-premise orders, right? Because they need to be considered differently. Someone's going to come up and pick up that online order and maybe deliver it to a customer. Those processes can't be totally separate, right? I love the show The Bear. I don't know if anyone else watches The Bear. That's been very popular the last few years, but there's a great episode of that show where they brought in online ordering for the first time, and the restaurant fell apart because they hadn't put any thought into what their processes were going to be, how they were going to integrate their on-premise business that they were so used to with this new off-premise business. So restaurants really need to think about what their processes are going to be to make sure it's seamless across all of their channels. As we mentioned, speed and accuracy are critical to customer trust. The customers want it fast and they want it accurate. This is especially important when you talk about off-premise business, right? If I go eat at a fast food restaurant and I go to the counter and I order something, I take it back to a table and I look and something's wrong, it's missing something, I didn't, I ordered a burger without pickles, but darn it, there's pickles on my burger. I can go back to the counter and it's a little bit painful, but they can quickly get me a replacement. They can make it right. But when I order at home, there's no real opportunity to make it right. I'm going to make a return, or I'm going to be angry, or I'm probably just not going to order from that restaurant again. And that's death for QSRs. And importantly, these new processes that you're going to be implementing into your back end to make everything run smoothly, everything needs to scale. And what restaurants are doing today, or a lot of restaurants are doing today, really doesn't scale to this new complex world where you've got a lot of orders coming in from a lot of different channels. So again, it's the restaurant industry's turn to go through these omni-channel growing pains. And today we're going to talk about how labeling is really a key enabler for solving those pains. So, once upon a time, labeling's been in restaurants for a long time, but it's always been a bit of an afterthought or often handwritten. It hasn't been a focus point for restaurants until recently for really increasing their operational efficiency, right? Labeling now is a critical item for QSRs all over the restaurant. It's really important for things like order accuracy, right? Ideally, a restaurant's gonna label every item in an order to make sure that they know what each item is, what modifiers were included, and that all the right items are going into the bag. Because ultimately, accurate orders reduce chargebacks for a restaurant, and that is very painful for QSRs today when you have so many third-party platforms that your customers are ordering through. Reducing those chargebacks that they're facing from incorrect orders is really critical. QSR, it's a low margin business. They can't afford to be having all of these chargebacks. I read a article recently, a study that said that 70% of these kind of chargeback events can be traced back to something that went wrong in the kitchen, meaning a main item or an item was left out of an order, an add-on like ketchup packets or barbecue sauce or something was not included, or the modifiers were not correctly implemented. So 70% of these things are happening in the kitchen because of poor processes, and labeling can really be a solution to that. When things are clear in a kitchen and everything is easily identifiable, you get better speed of service, right? Anytime a restaurant operator clerk has to think or has any doubt, that slows things down. It introduces opportunity for error, for order accuracy errors, but it slows down the whole process, and that doesn't work for a restaurant either. When it comes to presentation, it's really critical. As I mentioned, so many labels today are handwritten. They're not easily read, leading to mistakes or a bad customer experience. Labeling is a great opportunity for branding. Why not include your brand on these labels? It's a great opportunity for personalization. And it's critical for off-premise fulfillment. I can do everything right in a kitchen. I can put all the right items in the bag. I can individually label all the items. I can make it a great experience, really efficient in the kitchen, and make sure everything that's going out of my restaurant is correctly assembled. But if the driver picks up the wrong bag or picks up bag one when there's really 2 bags in that order, then it all falls apart. It was all for naught. So that labeling for the drivers, for the off-premise delivery, is really critical as well. For food safety and compliance, it's critical. Just like a warehouse, right? A retailer's warehouse, all the items in a restaurant need to be labeled. And that becomes especially critical because you're talking about perishable food items. We're inundated in today's news with food safety issues, right? With restaurant brands that, they've had a rash of foodborne illnesses coming out, and it takes a really long time for a restaurant brand to recover from that ding to their image from a food safety issue. Then there's the compliance, the allergen type of labeling that needs to happen in restaurants. So that food safety side of it and managing your restaurant's inventory is really, really critical, and labeling plays a big role in that, especially very clear, very easy to understand labeling, like a printed label instead of handwritten, right? And then ultimately, it all comes down to maintaining and building that customer trust and the image for your brand. I can tell you, I don't like to always name names, but it's in a positive light. So, one of my favorite experiences going to Chipotle, because everything I get when I order through the drive-thru or online is individually labeled in the bag. I know what's for me, what's for my kids. I know what every item is, and it gives me a sense that they know what they're doing, that they have an efficiently run kitchen, that everything in my order is going to be correct. And that gives me a good feeling, a good trust with the brand. And it's the same, the flip side goes the same. You get wrong order once, maybe twice from a restaurant, and I'm probably not going back there again because I don't have that trust, or that brand image is reduced for me. So there's a lot of pain points that modern QSRs feel today, and Star really aims to solve a lot of these pain points, right? Okay, we talked about the order errors, the wrong, missing items, things incorrectly packaged because the restaurant worker didn't know what was what, or wasn't clear about what items went with what order. They had a big shelf full of all their to-go orders and things weren't labeled clearly, or it was, a name was scribbled on the bag, but it's not obvious what it was. Having things, working really inefficiently. Really the modern QSR, one of the most important things besides order accuracy for a modern restaurant is efficiency. Having a really smoothly running front of house and back of house in the kitchen. So things like manually writing labels, manually writing the date code labels on your in your food prep area. All of this just slows the kitchen down, leads to mistakes, leads to confusion, leads to a poor running kitchen. A bad presentation, right? Not having the right label and the right application. Labels are different, and we'll talk about that. What labels are right for each application. By having a label, everything nicely labeled is great, but if the label falls off or it gets smudged or something, then it was all for naught. Restaurants today struggle with what their printer install base can print on today. We'll talk about this, but it's really important that restaurants be able to print the right type of media in each different station around a restaurant. And the hardware install base today can oftentimes be very limiting in that regard. And then there's, we'll call it printer clutter, right? Too many different types of printers, too many different models, a different model for every different station in the printer, receipt, cafe, your grills, your to-go area, drive-through. if you've got a specialized model in every station around your printer, that becomes impossible to manage for a restaurant. It's just too many devices to support. You can't swap them around easily. If something goes wrong with one printer, it gets really tough to manage, and we've got solutions for that. And then ultimately, it's the headache of deploying the models and then ultimately supporting the models. So we have solutions to that as well. But first, we talked about media flexibility and why that's so important today. We talked about all these applications, right? All the applications that a modern restaurant can use labels in today. It's not always the same label or the same type of printout at every station. There's different needs. For example, we use linerless labels, whether it's the removable type, what we call sticky labels, or a more permanent linerless label. You know, those are great for labeling an individual item in an order, labeling your drink cup. You know, think the coffee cups with all the modifiers and the name, things like that, and then ultimately sealing the bag or the label that's going to go on the completed order that's going to tell that DoorDash driver, you know, who's supposed to pick it up, who's it for, how many bags are in that order, you know, what's inside that order. That's really important. That's great for linerless labels. But linerless labels aren't the right solution for every application, right? In a lot of applications at a restaurant, we use die cut labels, and that's especially popular in that prep area when you're preparing your all your consumable items that are going to go in a fridge or on the counter for preparation of sandwiches, things like that. But where you're going to have expiration dates, you know, the date code labels, how long that will last, all your inventory compliance labels. Those are often done on die cut labels, so linered labels, the peel and stick labels, where you might be printing out a strip of labels and taking it and labeling all your food prep bins. And then of course a restaurant's printing receipts, whether it's from the front counter, from a kiosk now, and increasingly your delivery orders. So there's a lot of different types of media that a QSR needs to print on. And it's really important that we have a printer at every station in all of these environments, because everywhere you're labeling things, you're making things faster, you're making things more efficient, less clutter, less chance of errors. And I will talk about the Star specific solutions because we really have the solutions for all of these problems. First, I'm going to talk about our one of my favorite products in our lineup for me, which is our MC Label 3 printer. This is really, we talk about having a printer at every station. It's even better if you can have one printer for every station, and that's really what the MC Label 3 is. It'll print linerless labels, whether it's the removable sticky labels or the permanent linerless labels. It'll do the linered labels, whether they're die cut labels like a 1x2 inch label, 2x2 inch label, something like that, or a continuous linered label if you want to have a flexible length. And of course, it'll do receipts as well. It's a printer that is in use around the world by big QSR chains in some of the toughest environments around. So it's a proven entity and carries, of course, that famous Star quality. Having one printer that you can use anywhere in your restaurant is really so much more efficient and manageable for a QSR. It's one printer they've got to support. When something goes wrong, a printer breaks, gets dropped, whatever, someone pours a Coke into it, and you've got to swap out a printer, you know that you can grab a printer from somewhere else, stick it in that station, and it's going to work because it's the same model across the board. It's just so much more efficient to manage for a restaurant and ultimately cheaper. The MC Label 3, it's got high print speed. Again, it's extremely reliable, front exit, so it is splash resistant. You dump a Coke on it, it's going to be okay. It's small form factor for the capacity it has, 4-inch diameter roll capacity. It's a cloud-ready printer. We'll talk a little bit about some of our cloud solutions later. But really, Star is known for our technology and our software support, and we really put all of that into all of our models that I'm going to talk about today. We've got a really interesting function for the MC Label 3 that we call one-touch label, and that's so you can have it printing all of the labels coming from your KDS or your point of sale system. But you can also store up to 3 labels on the printer. So these would be like a static label image. Maybe it's your branding to seal a bag with. Maybe it's a template for a date code label, something like that. If you don't have that solution in your restaurant, you can store that in the printer. And then just by pushing the button in the front once, 2 times, 3 times, you can print that stored label. So it's a really nice thing to add extra functionality to a printer that's installed in your restaurant that is doing other things, right? It's printing your kitchen labels, your grill labels, your drink labels, whatever, but it's also able to print these stored labels on there that you can make use of. And of course, while this MC Label 3 can print on just about any media, you have to find something that I could put in it that would give it any kind of trouble. But we sell a full range of labels, receipt paper in many different formats, many different adhesives, permanent, removable, sticky labels. And you can rest assured that anything that you buy from Star has been highly tested with any of the models that we sell that we say is compatible with that printer. So it gives you that extra peace of mind that you buy it from us, it's going to work. And with Star, there are definitely companies out there that their business is consumables, is media. So they might give you a really low price on the printer, really high price on the media, and that is not Star's business, right? We are here to make your lives easier, help you sell media that is going to be affordable for your customers, and just a great paired solution with our printers. So I told you I was going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek here at a product that we've got coming out next month. So we've had so much success with the MC Label 3, we really quickly realized that we need to double down, kind of continue in this lineup. And now we're launching the smaller version, which is the MC Label 2 printer. So while the MC Label 3 has a 3-inch wide max width, it can go anywhere from 25 millimeter to 80 millimeter, or about 3 inches. The MC Label 2 is smaller. It'll do 25 millimeter up to 60 millimeters. So that's a little over 2-inch width. We realize that not every environment needs that wider format label. Some really prioritize a very small footprint. And I was really impressed with what our team was able to do when they engineered this product. It keeps that same 4-inch diameter, so the really high capacity label support that we have with the MC Label 3, but in a much smaller footprint. So this is really compact. It's also front paper loading. So what that means is you pull down the front of the printer to load the paper, and it comes out of the front. So again, it's still water resistant, liquid resistant, but now you can, because you're not having to load it in the top, you can put this on a shelf. You can put this in really compact areas where shelf space or counter space is very limited. A really exciting thing about this model is, for the first time, we have a higher resolution, or a 300 DPI printhead support. So this is really nice for branding, if you want to have a really crisp logo, all of that. But if you've got small barcodes, really small text on your label, for example, in small text, you have your allergens, your ingredients, something like that, that's commonly done in a very small font, it's going to image beautifully on this printer, which is extremely exciting for us. Again, we have all of that media support, the linerless, die cut, and receipts, all from the one printer. We've also got a version that's going to be die cut only, because there are environments where they just don't need linerless, and that's fine. So we've got a model that is die cut label only. So this is really for environments you can imagine in cafes, right? Coffee shops, where they're labeling coffee or boba tea cups. Those are typically done on a narrower label. They don't need the bigger printer. This is perfect for them. They also typically don't have a lot of counter space, so having a very small footprint printer is really fantastic for them. Also in that food prep date code label type of environment, typically those are done more often on 2-inch printers. So this is really a perfect model for that environment. And of course, in the retail world, you're able to do all the price labels, shelf labels, all those types of things as well. So very exciting addition to our lineup. Keep an eye out for that around the end of next month. And then finally, a lot of people are very familiar with our TSP 100 series. We have the TSP 143.4 model in the SK version. So this is if all you need is receipts and sticky labels, this is the model for you. It's great. It's 80 millimeter wide or 40 or 58 millimeter, easy to adjust. If you're already familiar or already maybe using the TSP 100 series, this is great for you because it's going to be very familiar to your customer base. It's very cost effective, supports all of our integration solutions, all of our SDKs for all the different platforms, all of our cloud solutions. And we just released our the new X4 version, which is really all the interfaces in one model. So you've got your USB, Ethernet, Bluetooth, and our new wireless experience, which is just fantastic. If you've used Star wireless printers over the years, you've seen every generation we get a little better with the setup experience, but this the X4 series really takes it to the next level in ease of setup. The wireless setup is just much more in line with kind of like a smart home device or that type of easy setup experience, and that is really critical when it comes to the QSR. They don't have time to be messing around with IT stuff. They need stuff to just work. So how, I want to help you guys to be successful, help you guys to drive ROI for your customers, because that's really what's gonna help you gain business, and your success is our success. So by implementing labeling across a restaurant, helping your customers to do that, if you're an ISV, building that into your software solutions, you're gonna really improve the QSR's efficiency. They're gonna have fewer errors, they're gonna get fewer chargebacks, they're just gonna be a much more profitable and better run QSR. You're gonna help them to enhance their brand image. You're gonna get consistent, nice, clean labeling, all items labeled in an order, labels that don't fall off and lead to confusion when it comes to delivery. You're gonna help them support this new omni-channel challenge, this thing that really just accelerated during the pandemic, where QSRs have to think about what's going on in their in-store environment, what's happening at the drive-through, what's happening for delivery, and make sure that all of those things are well integrated in their kitchen, and all of those things are delivering a commonly excellent experience for their customer base. We're going to help you to help them simplify their operations, right? We can deliver on one printer for all of their stations to really simplify their support. It's going to mean less support calls for you guys because they don't have 5 printer models across their restaurant. They've got to treat differently and support differently. And maybe most importantly, you're going to help them future-proof themselves, right? We have printers that, by delivering that media flexibility, maybe they're not using Linerless today, but they're thinking about it. By giving them a printer that can support all of the media, you help them to be flexible with wherever their restaurant goes in the future. By giving them a model that has a lot of different interface support, it gives them flexibility to be to change things in the future. Maybe they have USB, they need USB today, but they're thinking about going wireless in the future. Now they're not going to have to tear out all of that hardware and replace it with wireless hardware. You can be confident that you can deliver them a solution that is going to support their needs today and support their needs in the future. So we talked about a lot of great hardware solutions, but a printer is only as good as the customer that supports it. And I think that's where Star really shines. We've got a dedicated channel support team, right? That's a team that's going to help you secure business, help you solve your customers' challenges, drive you in the right direction, support you every step of the way. Star is famous for our software support. We've got industry-leading SDKs for every platform you can think of: iOS, Android, cloud, what have you. And I think one of the things we're best known for is our integration team. If you're an ISV on this call, or you're working with ISVs, delivering solutions from ISVs, which all of us are, our integration team can help really smooth that path for taking an idea and turning it into a functional solution. We've got developers on the team that'll help hold your hand every step of the way. In the modern world, everything is cloud driven, right? And every ISV today, every solution has a cloud component to it. We recognized that very early and started to deliver increasingly useful solutions for the cloud. So now all of our modern printers, all the printers that we're releasing in really the last 2-3 years are cloud ready. And that means it works with our CloudPRNT Next solution. So that is a technology that ISVs can take to build server-based solutions for printing from their cloud to our printers. And then we're taking that now even a step further. A lot of our partners told us, that's great, we want a cloud-based printing solution, but I don't want to manage that. I don't want to manage the server. I don't want to support the server. I just want it to work. I want you guys to go handle the rest of it. So that's what we built in our new StarIO.Online service, which is really a Star-hosted printing and printer management solution. So you can print through that solution, you can update your firmware, change settings on the printer, all of those things that you need to do to manage the printer and do its core functionality, which is printing from the cloud, is now available in StarIO.Online, and that's something that we take all the heavy lifting away from you guys and just let you guys deliver a solution. Of course, we offer all the Star media support, so receipt papers, linerless labels, sticky labels, permanent linerless, die cut labels, basically everything that you would need to put into that printer, we have available for you. If you can't find something in our lineup, let us know and we'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. And of course, you know Star is a leader, a technology leader, a leader in support, a leader in integration, and a leader in the channel. We have the expertise in that market. We've been in this market a long time, and we can help you to be successful and navigate this, all of these challenges that QSRs have today. So finally, what I want to leave you with is the QSR landscape is changing and changing rapidly. They need smart, fast, consistent, flexible labeling solutions to make sure that they can run a fast, flexible, efficient kitchen. The MC Label series, our TSP143-4 SK model, deliver all of that flexibility and all of that speed and precision that you need from a printer for this modern QSR. The media versatility is key. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach basically anywhere, right? A restaurant needs to be able to print receipts. They need to print their die-cut labels to label all their food bins. They need their linerless labels in the kitchen to label their cups and their sandwiches and all the things going into an order. They need that linerless label to go seal the bag at the end of the order before it goes to the delivery driver. Having one printer in every station makes a restaurant more efficient, but having one printer for every station makes a restaurant's life that much easier, makes your life that much easier because you don't have to support them with multiple different models. They can swap as they need. They can just learn one model and learn it well. It just makes a restaurant's life that much easier. And finally, you need a good partner that's going to help you navigate every step of the way. And Star is that partner. We have the solutions, we have the expertise to help you drive value for your customers. So please reach out. And with that, I will take it to any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. That was a fantastic presentation. And I do appreciate that you threw out the bear reference there, by the way, because you're right. That episode is a very clear example of how trying to adopt a new technology that you are not ready for can go horribly wrong. Clearly, they did not have a good VAR partner helping them out there.
They didn't have the right partner, but they had the right printer. I don't know if anyone noticed, but that's a Star MC Print 3 printer in that episode.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Great product placement there. There you go. So there's your homework, everyone. Go out and watch the bear. All right, well, at this time, we are open for questions. If you haven't already, type those into the question section of your GoToWebinar dashboard, and I'll be happy to relay those to John. While you're doing that, if you should be subscribed to the BlueStar Nation podcast. You are, right? Maybe not. That's fine. Each week, Dean Reverman and I tackle the hot topics, technologies, trends, industries, sales, and marketing tips to help you find new opportunities and grow your business. We are often joined by brilliant guests from around the channel as well. Now, John and I were reminiscing at the start before we kicked this off today because he appeared on the show way back in 2020, our first year. It was like 200 episodes ago. He probably barely remembers it. We probably were terrible at the time, so maybe don't check out that episode, at least not for us. But some of our more recent and upcoming episodes have included Stars' Christoph Naas, discussing kitchen technology trends, the findings from our latest retail end user survey, the new era of digital or of edge computing rather, and how to build a foundation to sell AI solutions in your business. So you can find the show on BlueStar's YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, anywhere that you get podcasts. All right, we do have a slew of questions that have come in, so I'm going to start over to you here. First up, do you see fewer people using 40 millimeter or 58 millimeter labels for drink cups?
For drink cups, I definitely see the majority of that being 40 millimeter.
All right, next up here. Do you have a list of ISVs that have certified the MC Label 3 and TSP 143.4 SK printers?
So definitely, yeah, get in touch. We can help point you towards those ISVs that have integrated that solution or are supporting it, and maybe some that are on deck and are working on that support now.
Perfect. And I'll make sure who asked that question gets noted over to them later after the webinar as well. So they'll know to reach out to you and get in touch and talk about that. Do you offer any type of simple demo software?
So I guess yes and no. So you can go into the App Store, so iTunes or Android Google Play markets, and download our Star Quick Setup utility. I find that's a great, it's a great application for configuring a printer and changing settings and things like that. But it allows you to print demos, print demo receipts, do all the functions of a printer very easily, even connect a cash drawer and pop a cash drawer. Connect a barcode scanner, all the functions that our printers are able to do, you can demonstrate very easily with that application. So that's my go-to when I'm showing a printer off to a potential customer, and I recommend that's a good place to start.
Perfect. Will Star have an OEM die-cut label SKU available for that printer?
We have multiple die-cut label SKUs available, so we can certainly give you a list of that. Or if you go on to the MC Label 3 product page, we do have, I believe, all the part numbers listed for much of the media that we sell that's compatible with that printer. So we have a lot of different sizes available for die-cut labels already SKU'd up and ready to sell.
Great. It's someone asking for the contact information for custom consumable pricing. Again, that's something we'll be happy to reach out to you after the fact and get in touch with you there. Do all the printers that you've shown today come equipped with a plate and roller compatible, forgive me if I mispronounce that, with Linerless printing, or if it is an add-on to request at purchase?
Yeah, so these are all, they all have platens and all the components specifically engineered for linerless labels. So they all are linerless label compatible, with the exception of that one variant of the MC Label 2, which is specifically for die cut labels. And one thing I didn't mention in the webinar is specifically with the MC Label 3 has some additional functionality that makes it really easy to manage in the field. We made it very end user serviceable. So, you know, the platen, the cutter, all of those things are coded to resist the adhesive so they don't jam, right? Over some years, over continuous use, one, that you need to clean it to make sure it stays, you know, that's very easy to do. We make that very easy to do, but we make it just as easy to swap out those components, swap out the platen, swap out the cutter, which you'll have to do over some years. So that's a really strong point of the MC Label 3 is that we make it very, very easy, easier than any printer I've ever seen, for taking those things out, cleaning them, and then ultimately swapping them out. And then we have a kit that you can buy that includes the cutter and platen for when that eventually does need to be replaced.
All right, that is the last question. Boy, I take it back. I just got another one popped up here. There is a large variability of tackiness of linerless labels out there. Is there a limit to the adhesive strength that the printer will use?
So in the TSB 143.4 SK, definitely that is limited to the removable linerless, and we can direct you towards the linerless labels in our lineup that are, that's gonna be our TRK series in our lineup, that are going to be the appropriate labels for that printer. The MC Label series, the MC Label 2 and MC Label 3, have a lot more flexibility. I have not found anything yet that I've been able to put through it that causes a jam or causes any trouble. However, of course, again, you know, you can rest assured that anything in our lineup has been thoroughly tested in different environments, different temperatures, humidities, all of those kinds of things to be sure that it's not going to cause you any problems down the road in that printer.
All right, next up here, how do you clean these?
Yeah, so the you know, it's interesting. The MC Label 3 again, it actually will print out a little notification for you after a certain amount of print jobs saying, hey, maybe it's time that you think about cleaning me. And the simplest way to do that, if you're doing it routine maintenance, is you actually just use the label that printed out. Adhesive likes adhesive, right? So if you just stick that adhesive, stick that label along the cutter, along the platen, it's going to pull away any adhesive, because it's going to stick to that label a lot easier than it's going to stick to our the components of our printer, which are very adhesive resistant. So that's the best place to start, is actually just using some adhesive. So, you know, using a label to pick up any of that adhesive that might have been left behind.
I like that. I think more things in life should have a, hey, it's time to clean me notification.
Yep.
Okay, another one here. Any mobile linerless printers on the horizon?
We do not, unfortunately, have a mobile printer capable of linerless media in our lineup today. Nothing on the horizon, but definitely am interested in learning about those applications and where that is needed. See if we can make that business case.
All right, these are some great questions. Appreciate it. Does both MC versions support acrylic media?
Yep, absolutely. So hot melt, acrylic emulsion, all, you know, again, I haven't found anything I can put through it that has caused a jam or caused any trouble yet.
All right, that's it for the moment. We'll give another minute or so here to let any last minute questions come in. Oh, I see, I take it back. There's another one coming in. Man, these folks got a lot. Can the MC Print 3 use ZPI interface?
I'm guessing they're asking about ZPL, and it does not support ZPL. We have our own emulation, you know, our StarPrint emulation, but we have a lot of software tools available in our SDKs, et cetera. That'll basically give you all the templating, all of the design elements you need to create a label appropriately.
Yeah, that was totally my bad. I totally said ZPI instead of L, and that's what I get for trying to read on a small screen. So, all right, we'll give it another moment here, see if anything else pops up. John, do you have any final thoughts before we do wrap up today?
No, I just, thank you guys all so much for attending. This is a really top of mind topic for me and something that Star is putting a lot of focus on. So appreciate all your engagement and excellent questions.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Thank you guys so much. That was great questions. I think I will do it for us today. If you do think of additional questions, or maybe you're watching the presentation recording later, please don't hesitate to reach out to your BlueStar account manager. You can reach out to our Star Micronics BDMs, Rob Bell or Amy Hildebrand. You can reach them at star@bluestarinc.com. You can respond to any of the emails that you've received about this webinar. I'll be happy to connect you to the right folks as well. Again, thank you so much to John and Star. We appreciate their support and doing this webinar. Thanks so much to all of you for attending today. A reminder that a recording link will be sent out to you later today from GoToWebinar at the same email that you used to register. Please feel free to watch again or share with your colleagues. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.